Welcome everyone. It's time for another episode of Old Roommates. Today on the show, we revisit The Sixth Sense. So build yourself a little tent in your room and turn it up all the way as we revisit The Sixth Sense.
A master of improv.
You know, I do my best.
Welcome, everyone, to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. I'm Brian.
I'm Christina.
And today, we are revisiting 1999's The Sixth Sense by MNightShyamalan, directed and written by him. Christina, let's dive right in. Please tell us the first time you saw this movie and what your take was then.
I saw this movie in the theaters.
Oh, fancy.
So fancy. And pretty unlike me. I'm not a big horror movie person. I don't know who talked me into it. I don't remember who I was with.
Yeah.
Someone talked me into it. And I'm very happy that I did. It was and I think mostly because it was one of those movies that you obviously do not want to be spoiled about. And let me just say this up front to all our listeners. If you have not seen this movie, you need to shut
it off. Shut this episode off if you've not seen The Sixth Sense.
Shut it off.
It's all spoilers.
You need to watch this movie without being spoiled.
Yeah.
Or it will be spoiled.
That's right.
So we will be spoiling it during this episode. Shut it off now. Go listen to one of our other episodes. But please,
oh my God,
do yourself a favor. So anyway, yes. So obviously you didn't want to be spoiled before you watched this movie. I saw it in the theaters, which I'm so happy I did.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being completely surprised.
Mm-hmm.
100% surprised at the ending, which doesn't happen very often, I have to tell you. I mean, I'm usually pretty good at guessing what's happening. And I think the advantage of this movie, too, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this came out before Signs?
Yeah.
Okay. Because the problem with M. Night Shyamalan is he's known now for having that crazy twist, right? So I'm very happy that this was one of his first movies because you didn't expect that crazy weird twist. If it had been the third M. Night Shyamalan movie that I watched, I might be looking for it and be like, oh, I wonder what's going on. But I didn't do that. I didn't question it, and I was blown away at the end. I really loved this movie, and then I loved it even more after because I ended up watching it again, not in the theaters, but when it came out, I rented it and watched it again because you want to look at it with new eyes and look for things. And I thought it was really well done. And I was very impressed with Haley Joel Osment.
Osment, yeah.
Usually you're the one correcting me.
No, what the hell did I say?
Did you say Osment?
You said Osment. I said Haley Joel Osment.
Well, it's nothing a little editing won't fix.
God.
Anyway, I really loved this movie. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, so this is really quick. M. Night Shyamalan's third film. He had a movie called Praying with Anger and a movie called Wide Awake. This is his third film, released in 1999. Then it was Unbreakable, then Signs, then The Village. The Village, by the way, I guessed the twist during the movie. I knew it.
Good for you.
Yep. I'm not one to brag, but
you just bragged.
I guessed it, yeah. So I will say then, same. I didn't guess it. I didn't know the twist. And I was really engrossed in this movie then. I thought that little kid, Haley Joel Osment, was a revelation then. There were quotes that I remembered when he says things like, how can you help me if you don't believe me?
Oh,
but let me say
really
something.
Good dialogue. I really do love dialogue.
Yeah, there's some really nice stuff in this movie. I will say then, something that burned a special place in my pop culture brain forever and ever. I remember so that scene in the beginning, and I'm talking about Ben still.
Yes.
So my big fear of mine, home invasion. I had some scary episodes in the past that I talked about on the show. So, but they walk into the bedroom. They see broken glass in the floor. Someone has broken through the window. And then you see this figure pass by in the bathroom. Holy God. Sitting in the movie theater. I was in the movie theater as well. I start with Faith, actually.
Oh, no kidding.
And, what is that, a lie? I think I start with Faith. But, so I'm sitting there, and then the camera slowly turns, and you see Donnie Wahlberg. I didn't know it was him.
Yes, go on. Finish it. Because I didn't know it was him either. And even now, knowing that it's him, it's hard to recognize him.
Jesus. He lost 43 pounds. So I didn't know. And even though it says, you're right, it says his name in the credits, so I'm kind of looking for him. So you're aware of this. And they show this emaciated, although now it's like my ideal goal weight. I kill to look like that. No, but you see this emaciated, his hair's all brushed forward. He has like a nipple ring, right? And he is white, like as a ghost. He is so thin and like, oh my God! It is a terrifying visual.
Yes,
it has stayed with me my entire life.
100%.
He at one point, and I remember all of this. The spit, the drool, and he's like so angry. Like spit comes out of his mouth, and he drools. He is so scary, and he's only in this movie for a few minutes, but I don't even care that it was Donnie Wahlberg. I think that is incredible acting.
100%.
It is so terrifying, and yes, the transformation is incredible, but just the imbalance that stayed with me more, to be truly honest, than like the visuals of like the twist at the end. Like, you know, it's like, okay, but in terms of like setting a scene and a tone, that is such a scary effing moment in 90s film that has stayed with me forever. It is so scary. And then when he's like yelling and he's so upset, and you're like, you feel for him, but you also know it can be dangerous. And then he grabs the gun, and you're like, oh my God. And the camera pans as he shoots himself. Oh my God, every second of that was terrifying. And that has stayed with me my entire life. And so, yeah, just solid acting all along. It was my big memory of this movie.
And that was a scene. That scene with Donnie was a huge comeback for him. Because up until that point, he was sort of a laughingstock in a way, as far as acting was concerned. And
well, was he?
Well, I remember him not being taken seriously.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, "Oh my God, Donnie Wahlberg was amazing!" Like, I remember that distinct moment when everyone just woke up and said, "Whoa,
yeah,
he's amazing."
Yeah.
And it turned the page for him, 100%.
Yeah. Well, I think anyone in a boy band, I think it's hard to break out of that for sure. But I think also too, it's a testament to how good he is in this movie, because he's in the beginning. Like, I mean, we have short attention spans, and to remember 4 minutes, if that, of screen time at the very beginning of a movie, of a 2-hour movie, to have to hold that place in someone's mind that way. And it's really strong acting in a crazy scene.
I also feel like it's really strong directing. And, you know, it is unfortunate because, like I said before, that, you know, M. Night Shyamalan, he's very talented, but it was unfortunate that he did the same sort of stuff over and over again, because it did sort of make it less effective as each movie went on.
Well, I think you said it really well earlier.
Yes.
Because he was so, like, that twist. But
finish.
But I think sometimes it was hard to enjoy his movies. Because you're, like, looking for the twist. And I don't think that's his fault.
Right.
I think it's an audience, it's like something you expect from directors. Like this style or this twist or this thing. But I think it prevented people from, or the expectation was just so high.
Yes.
You can't help but be a little disappointed.
Yes. But this being the first movie, you don't know what it's about. You know it's a scary movie, right? Mm-hmm. So, naturally, you think that this person who broke in is going to be the killer throughout the movie, right? You don't know that you go... Like, and this happens several times throughout this movie, not just at the very end with the big twist, but throughout the movie there's twists, because you feel like one way, mm-hmm. and then it turns sympathetic. Mm-hmm. And it turns... Your emotions get flip-flopped around. Mm-hmm. You're scared, then you feel bad, mm-hmm. for like the Donnie Wahlberg character. You're scared about the ghosts, then you feel sympathetic about the ghosts. Like, mm-hmm. it's so... It just goes back and forth, back and mm-hmm. forth, back and forth. And that's, I think, is really great directing, to be able mm-hmm. to evoke all of those different emotions.
Yeah.
And it's more than just a scary movie. It's actually like a relationship movie. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I agree. I will say, yes, and I think that, so you did, Science Village, Leading the Water, and then The Happening. The Happening in 2008, I know that we're an 80s, 90s podcast. That is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I've never seen it.
That is Mark Wahlberg and Zooey Deschanel. And basically, like, essentially it's like the trees are angry. Like, it's like, because of the environment and everything we're doing to the world. Interesting concept. The acting is some of the most atrocious acting, and the directing is really bad, too. It's just a bad movie.
It's too bad.
But, in my opinion. So, let's talk about now.
Okay.
You rewatched this when?
So I rewatched this maybe a week and a half ago or something.
Yeah.
But, so I watched this with Emily and Matt.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really excited. So Matt's seen it before. Mm-hmm. I was really excited to have Emily see it. So she's not really a scary movie kind of person, but she did really like The Quiet Place.
Yes, right? That's right.
Which is a scary movie.
Yeah.
The first one. We haven't seen the second one yet.
And it's similar in the sense of the atmospheric.
Exactly. And that's why I'm like, you know what? She liked A Quiet Place. I think she's going to like this movie. Mm-hmm. Especially since it's really front-loaded with scary. The last half of the movie isn't that scary.
That is a very true note.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, it really is. Yeah. It just sort of like... Now we're talking about how he's going to move forward.
That's right.
And, you realize that he's just helping the ghosts and all that kind of stuff. So it's scary at first. The suspense is scary, but then it calms down. And you leave the theater really not being afraid of ghosts. I mean, me, anyway. I was like, oh, I'm not afraid to go to sleep right now because I can just ask them if they need help, right? So,
you just reminded me of like I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. So anyway, so I watched it with them. Mm-hmm. I was so excited because I knew she knew nothing about it, and I was really happy to I just wanted to watch her expression throughout, just all the emotions that are involved, right? And what I didn't anticipate was that first scene when he shoots himself in the head.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
and she was just like, what the hell? Like, she didn't say that, but she's like, I am scarred for life.
Did she say that?
Yeah. She looked at me, she's like, I am scarred for life. Like, I can't believe I just saw that. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm sorry, honey. And thank God, like...
Wait a minute. In a recent episode about Alanis Morissette, you talked about, what are you doing to this girl?
I know. And actually, you know what's funny is the Alanis Morissette stuff happened after this.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm just breaking her in. I don't know what's happening. But no, I know. This poor girl is going to be scarred for life. But she did. She literally said, I'm scarred for life. She goes, I will never stop thinking about that scene. And it was really, really jarring. I really forgot that they showed that. Just him putting the gun against his head.
Yeah, right.
Right. The rest of it was fine.
Yeah.
But the actual act of putting the gun against his head.
It's terrifying.
It is terrifying. Yeah. So I felt really bad about that. But it was great watching it again. And of course, it's such a different experience watching it after you know the secret. You can enjoy it in different ways. And I was really looking, first of all, I was so impressed with Haley Joel Osment's performance.
Yeah.
Even more so now. As an adult looking at this child actor, I'm like, holy crap. Yeah. Like, he is effective.
Yeah, he is. He delivers like all the lines like the right way, and even some of the lines that are like a little bit like movie, like very movie, he still delivers them like they were written, and it's a really good performance.
And you see, you really see the torment inside him of he does want to be a kid, but he knows that he's messed up, and it's just it's really, really heartbreaking to see. And I love that he didn't want to tell his mom because he doesn't want her to look at him differently. And like all of these really adult feelings he sells because you do feel like he has that like bigger knowledge of the world because of his gift that he has. But yeah, so I was definitely impressed with that performance, and it was just nice looking at the movie again and trying to catch the clues. And also watching Emily watch it for the first time. What
was her take at the end? The twist? Did she
completely surprised?
Did she understand the way it was done? Like how? Like
yes, she figured it out before I thought she would.
Oh, okay.
Not that she didn't figure it out before it happened. Yes, okay. But you know, like the wedding ring drops to the floor, and then he looks, and then he starts spinning. Like you just get the feeling like, oh, what's happening? Yeah. What's happening? And it was before like the really huge reveal, but she looked at me, she goes, is he dead? Is he dead? And I'm like, I don't want to say anything. I'm like, just watch. But like, so she figured out, but she was like so excited about it. She was apprehensive to watch it at first. Yeah. And now she's like, it was amazing. It was awesome. She's telling all her friends, she's like, you gotta see it. She really, really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed it too. Why don't you speak a little bit?
No, it's okay.
I feel like I've just been going on and on.
I mean, anytime you can traumatize your child for life. Oh my god! So I just love that. That's what she said.
Well, oh my god, it was so funny. Scarred me for life.
Scarred me for life. Sorry. Okay, so the overall feeling is that scene is still so damn scary. I will say, now that I'm older, I did find it. I found myself more critical of the Bruce Willis character. In both, maybe even a little bit in the acting of it, but also just, so the character is awarded, starts off, he's awarded this amazing, from the city of Philadelphia, like this amazing child psychologist. But, holy God, here's the thing. So that scary scene is still incredibly scary. But what I was like, I did take this note, because he's like, Bruce Willis's character, he's trying to figure out who this kid is, right?
Yes.
Maybe stop guessing after the first 3 names. Like, he's like, Bobby Jones, Danny Smith, Frankie Flanders?
Yes.
Like, I mean, I'm making up these names. But it's like, stop guessing. You're gonna hurt his feelings. He's already upset.
It's riling him up even more to know that he's just a
forgotten.
Number.
Yeah, he says this kid is like, he's already so frail and upset and fragile. Don't guess who he is. Just shut the hell up and listen to this kid.
And I think it would have been better for him to not like say names out loud. Like
that's my note, Christina.
Turn around. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you.
I just would stop guessing. It's so bad.
Yeah. Just turn around. Like you can act like you're trying to remember. Like, look, can you tell? I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. What was I going to say? But you can see what he's trying to.
Absolutely. There are ways to convey that. Yeah. That was a misfire.
Yes.
I will stay in that zone, because this is really, I don't have too many negatives, but these are my negatives. I'll start with the negatives.
Sure.
Because, wow, is he a bad doctor. So now you have his relationship with Cole Sear. Cole is played by Haley Joel Osment. And he is going through some disturbances, and then he's trying to figure out what's going on. Here, his name is Dr. Crow, Bruce Willis's character. Here are his tactics to see what is upsetting Cole. Stalking a child, telling bad dad jokes, telling really bad stories that really are just, he's not even making them all that interesting, and really dumb magic tricks.
Yeah.
He is an award-winning child psychologist. These are his tactics. Did you ever feel that Bruce Willis or Dr. Crow, did you ever feel that he was doing things like that were, say, normal, or even the opposite, like superiorly educated in child psychology?
No.
He seemed like a goofy uncle that was like just trying to get the kid to warm up. I didn't see his expertise.
I did not see his expertise either. And I think the way I interpreted that was, especially the first time watching it, and I don't remember exactly how I felt the first time I watched it, but I can imagine I felt this way, that he comes back from, so does it say, I forget, does it say the time frame?
I
feel like it says
the next fall.
Okay, so there's like, whatever, 9 months or whatever it happens to be. You get the sense that this is his first case since recovering. Mm-hmm. Like, that's kind of what I was kind of feeling.
Okay.
And he was depressed. He was, trying to get back his footing. Mm-hmm. So I kind of had that sort of forgiveness to him where he's like, all right, he's not really himself because he went through this life-changing experience. Yeah. So that's kind of where I was coming from. But yes, I do get, like, I am like, how does he think he's helping this child? Right. And, the one part I did like... Yeah. I did like the part when he was in the living room with the steps. Yeah.
So that's my note, too.
That felt like...
I like that.
That felt like a therapist thing kind of to do. Something a little bit more professional. Mm-hmm. Letting him have that decision and the control and things like that. But, the magic tricks...
Oh, God, the story?
Like the dumb magic tricks.
Oh, my God. That's what I said. Bad magic tricks, dumb stories, dumb jokes. Like, stalking him. Like, he's, like... It's just... and of course, like, I know he's a ghost and stalking.
But at the beginning, you're not sure why he's doing it. You don't know if his mother hired him to do this.
That's right.
You don't understand, like, why he's there. Like, you get you think that he's there because someone asked him to be there. Mm-hmm. It was really well done in that sense, as far as that goes. But yes, I agree. I didn't think he was very child psychologist-ish.
That scene with the steps, I will say, I like that moment with Haley Joel Osment where he says, he's like, tell me what you're thinking, and Cole says, I'm thinking he's nice, but he can't help me. Oh God, that gave me chills. I remembered it then. I remembered it and it felt the same then. Now,
so many.
It's so effective. Where you're like, oh, something much more sinister is going on here.
Yes, yeah. I loved that too. Yeah, I loved so much of him. Mm-hmm. He was like in the dialogue. I think was part of why I loved it. There's one thing he says when he was talking to the therapist. They don't have meetings about rainbows. Mm-hmm. When he was talking about the picture that he drew, and he's asking about the picture, and he's like, "Yeah, well, I don't do that anymore." Yeah, and you just love this kid. You're like, okay, yeah, he is so wise beyond his years. It doesn't sound like a kid reading dialogue that's too big for him.
That's right.
Right? Because that could have...
This is reminding me of our E.T. conversation.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But, I will say he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, Oscar,
and
that
he
year.
Lost. He didn't win it, which I was shocked.
Child actor, sure, but he delivers every...
he should have won it. And I looked up who won, and it wasn't.
Who was it?
No, it wasn't. It was like Michael Caine for something, something like might not have been him, but it was a movie and a person like I didn't.
Oh, maybe it was Was it Michael Caine for what's that school?
Maybe.
School. You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't recognize it.
Tobey Maguire's movie.
I didn't recognize it.
All right. Well, anyway, so
then they're in the hospital room. Mm-hmm. With the bedtime story. It was terrible.
That's story tongue. That's what
So was he talking about his own life? Was he talking... Yeah. What was okay, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah. So I'm like, what therapist is going to come in and start talking about his own personal problems?
1,000%.
Who's ever going to do that?
Yeah.
No one's going to do that.
Yeah.
Unless he's trying a new technique.
And it's really funny. So this is a big now and then...
No, I'm just saying, let's try a new technique. So his last patient... broke into his house, so he knew his personal information, knew his address, broke into his house and tried to kill him.
Yeah.
So let's tell my new client all about me.
And my emotional problems.
Like, you would think you would be the opposite.
That's right. And I remember, this is a now and then thing, where then I actually really liked Bruce Willis in that scene. Now that I am a grown-up, I really feel like that it's not great. It's not a good tactic for a doctor. I don't think Bruce Willis is as strong as I remembered him being in this movie. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, this is a weird choice for a script, for a psychologist. And it just was a strange thing. And I mean, of course, the audience, we had to be caught up with Dr. Crow's own sort of personal thing, yes. But there had to have been a better way of getting that out.
I think it would have made more, well, I don't even know. I have no idea. You know how I am trying to rewrite the
yes.
story, but it would have made more sense for either the child to stumble across this information accidentally, mm-hmm. the problem or whatever, or even if he learned about it. Because, I mean, I get why.
Cole asks a lot of questions anyway. So Cole could have asked him questions.
He could have asked the question. I'm wondering if it would have been less effective if Cole's asking him what's wrong, why are you sad, why blah, 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 which he kind of does at one point. Mm-hmm. He does say, you're sad.
Yeah.
He does do that. But I wonder if that would have clued people in to like, okay, now he's helping ghosts and he's helping him. Mm-hmm. He must be a ghost. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if that was intentionally left out because they were afraid the audiences would catch on. Maybe.
Yeah. But that, like, to your point, though, that is what happens. He starts helping Bruce Willis through certain things.
But very subtly.
Yes.
But I will say, I feel very similar to you with Bruce Willis in terms of then and now. Although I never really felt he was that strong of a character or an actor back then.
Okay.
Like, he wasn't really someone it was just very neutral. Mm-hmm. Whereas now I felt like he's bad.
Oh, interesting. I didn't think he was bad. I just didn't think he was as good as I remembered.
Well, maybe bad's too mm-hmm. harsh, but like just not really good. Mm-hmm. And again, you're looking at
I love that you
as a therapist.
Maybe that's too harsh. You just called Donnie Wahlberg a joke.
He was a joke.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Formally.
I also think Bruce Willis
wasn't taken seriously.
Right. I do think, talking about Bruce Willis, there's a scene with the play when Cole comes out and takes the sword out of the stone, right?
Yeah.
So, I've heard Bruce Willis struggles with smiling genuinely. It really bothered me this time mm-hmm. around. And I don't know, is it that Bruce Willis's persona is so like Mr. Action Hero slick that it's harder to see him in a sympathetic role? Maybe that's part of it. Because it didn't bother me before.
Well, let me ask you this. So Bruce Willis, I'm trying to think of like his career. He was a super partier, like big partier for a while, and then he quit drinking. When he wasn't he with Demi Moore? Oh my God,
Kristen, I am so afraid of talking about people's personal lives because I don't know Bruce Willis's.
No, he did. He was a spokesperson for some like
the return of Bruno. Remember he had that music career and he was Bruno.
Oh God, yes.
But he was
with Demi Moore at one point.
He was
right?
for a long time.
That was when he was very drinking, and then he quit drinking.
I'm not commenting on this.
And
I don't know this for sure.
No, it's fine. I do. So. I'm just wondering at one point so maybe he's just afraid to like let go and be. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, this was after Die Hard, so he had an action persona. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. Maybe his persona is just like part of him now, and it was harder to go back to when he wasn't quite. I don't know, but I feel like that's wrong too because he did a bunch of action movies before this. But for whatever reason, he wasn't as convincing on rewatch.
Another couple lines that was so great with him, he just says, "Don't fail me."
Yep. Well, you know where that comes from.
That's from
the Donnie Wahlberg character. Yeah.
Yes. And that kind of wakes him up, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he says, "How can you help me if you don't believe me?"
Yeah.
And that's the other, and that starts, kind of connecting back to the Donnie Wahlberg character.
Yeah. Clearly, you didn't like my reading of that line when I said it 10 minutes ago.
Oh, did you say it loud?
Oh my God! I said it, and I said it very well.
What, when he was taking a step back?
When I know that, how can you tell me you don't believe me? That's what we talked about that. You're gonna listen to this, and you're gonna feel bad. You're gonna feel bad.
No, you said, I think you're nice.
But he can't help me.
But you can't help me.
Before that I said, how can you help me if you don't believe me?
Oh, sorry. I'll edit that out. So, no, I'm sorry. I do like, so one thing that that I realized this time around was when he's talking about the ghosts to Bruce Willis, and he's saying, they walk around, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They don't know they're dead.
Yeah.
They only see what they want to see.
Yeah.
That line, all of a sudden it clicked for me. When Bruce Willis is listening to the tapes of Donnie Wahlberg when he was a child.
Yeah.
That scene was always very like, oh, isn't that convenient now he's hearing these voices? But it is occurring to me now that he's only hearing them now because he wants to. And he's a ghost and he's able to.
No.
Did you
my thought was he left the room. He never thought. He never thought to listen to he never thought to listen more deeply. Remember that was I almost laughed when he adjusted the volume to 10 in this big dramatic way, and it's like, of course he would do that because he's whispering and stuff.
But why wouldn't he have done that before? As a therapist, you tape the sessions to listen to them.
Sure.
Why wouldn't he have listened to it before? I'm sure he had, but he didn't hear anything because he didn't want to, because he didn't believe any of that.
That's fair. That part, the believing.
That's kind of where I got that connection. I'm like, okay, now he's believing him, and he's listening for it, and he can hear it more. Maybe because he's a ghost, he can hear all the ghosts or something. I don't know. But I thought that was cool that I just sort of put that together to, like, 25 years later.
Oh, my God. Well, also, though, it doesn't he come back in the room and he says, ooh, it's cold in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
a lot of little things.
A lot of little things. I will say, something I totally forgot to say in the beginning, those opening credits are long. Did you feel that?
I did. Yeah, I did feel like
it was just a weird choice, but I mean, it's trying to establish a tone. Yeah. Toni Collette is my next note.
Love her.
She's so good in this. What a weird choice. So, original choice for this was Marissa Tomei.
Okay.
I could totally have seen that.
Yeah,
and I think she would have done really well. But I think Toni Collette is an interesting choice because she's like Australian, right? And she's playing a Philadelphia mom. The accent's amazing. Her voice is great. It's a flip from what I said about Bruce Willis. And when I saw this before with Toni Collette, I remember struggling a little bit. That I thought it was a little hammy, to be honest. But this was a little, This time around, I was like, oh, this feels really real. It feels like a really like lived-in like woman, mom. And I bought every word. I even got a little. When I saw it in '99, I thought that scene in the car with her was like when the crying and the choking up. I thought that was a little like acting moment. But this time around, I almost cried watching that scene. But I think she's really, and she was also nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
Well deserved.
Yeah, I think she was great too. And I love the scene where, like, they hug so many times, and there's one time they hug and he's shaking, and she feels so helpless. And she's like, just tell me, and she's like, you're shaking. Oh my God, what is going on? And you just feel that helplessness from her.
Yes.
It's really good.
Yes, I felt it even more so as a mom.
Here we go.
Well, I'm just saying I can relate better than you, Brian. No, I agree. Toni Collette was great. I loved her then. I loved her now. I do feel like there was an extra added layer because of me being a mother and having just feeling that helplessness. Like, I just want to help this child, and I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, because they're so tight. But there's the secret that he can't say.
Trying to be supportive, like trying to be a million things. Trying to be supportive, trying to be the mother, trying to be a friend, trying to be a confidant, trying to not look at him differently, trying to believe everything, but also feeling like there's something else there. So many different things, so many layers to it.
My point, though, is that they have everything. Like, they're so close. They have an amazing relationship, and they rely on each other. They love each other so much. Like, it's not... Like, even when he has these moments, I don't think it's affecting the love for each other. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think what makes it so much more interesting in this and more frustrating is that he just has the secret that he just can't tell her. And you said it earlier too. It's like that he doesn't want her to look at him differently. He doesn't want to ruin this relationship.
Well, he says that.
Yeah.
He says that. Yeah. But yes. And I can understand that. Totally. She's the one person who doesn't look at him differently. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
also, she has a nice moment when she says, I just want to talk to you about about them keeping their goddamn hands off my son. Yeah.
I love that.
But she was so nervous and just felt real. It reminded me of Anne Archer a bit in Fatal Attraction when she says a similar line. Yeah. It's like you always want to be so tough and ballsy, but at the end of the day, it's like that's much more authentic.
Yes,
to be almost sounding a little vulnerable when you're threatening them.
Yeah, her voice was like shaking. She was almost she was, and it was a good combination of like anger and upset, meaning sad.
My next note. Do you have anything to add about Toni Collette or
no? Just that I just thought she was very, very good, and I wish she had won something for that.
My next note is this is a big one. Doesn't anyone just die in their sleep anymore? Why does every ghost was killed in some horrific fashion? Like, that bothered me this time around.
Well, was it because they're trying to tie up loose ends? Like, I felt like the ghosts that he would see were people who had died unjustly.
Or just spontaneously, like unexpectedly. Like, but you could have a heart attack and have unfinished business. We don't see those people in this movie.
No.
You see the kid that accidentally shot himself through the head. You see the burn victim. You see people that.
So were all these people murdered?
No. The bike. There's
the accident.
The kid shot himself by accident.
Right.
And the people that were hanged. I mean, they were like being punished for something. Like the. I guess my point is it's more about the macabre-ness of these post-injury ghosts. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like really like dying in a fire. I mean, they're just. Even the girl, when he could have just met this sick-looking girl, but no, she has to puke her words out.
Yeah.
And it's does everything have to be quite so gross? And I was talking to Carl about this, and he's like, well, it is typically what you're saying. It's like, well, these people are they were stopped short.
Yes.
It's like these were unexpected deaths. But I would say well, that girl in the bed was not unexpected. Her mom was poisoning her. It was a gradual death.
But it's that unfinished business.
It is, but I'm saying, but it is the grossness of these ghosts. Is my point. It's what if it was just an older woman who died of a heart attack, who never was able to connect with her son or something, or her daughter. It's that. That's unfinished business. She didn't have to die in some horrific. Burning building. I mean, so that's my note there. I just
maybe they did that on purpose as well to further Bruce Willis's ghost.
Oh, that's interesting. Also, I think Carl said something along the lines of well, it's scary, so the kid is going to be scared. Even that woman in the kitchen, it's not enough that her husband beat her up, but she kills herself because he's beating her up. I mean, that's pretty heavy. Yeah. And she shows her wrists and look what you made me do. But she only did it to escape an abusive. That is quite.
And what's funny is I don't know.
Quite a story.
I don't know if you felt the same way or if it was intended. But I remember the first time I saw it, and also Emily said the same thing. I thought it was his mother at first.
Oh.
Because she has the same build and the robe. And
doesn't he say?
Does he say mom?
Does he say mom? I think that's...
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't remember if she's... But she said the same thing. She goes, I thought he was... I don't know if he did.
I don't know.
Because she turned to me and said, I thought that was his mother.
Yeah.
Or she said, is that his mother? Or something like that. I don't know what it was. But anyway... Yeah, that was kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, I think that they wanted to make it scary.
I worked out. Clearly I was drinking. I was like, doesn't anyone just die from choking on a piece of cheese or something? Like, why are these all so awful? These are gross.
But it's right. It's true. It needs to be scary for him to be afraid to help.
1,000%. That the most effective one for me is... Oh my God. And I remember that jolt in the theater when he's like, let me show you where my dad keeps his gun. And he turns,
that was horrible. The whole back of his
head's blown out. Oh my God.
That was horrible.
Heaven. That gave me a jolt then and now.
That gave me a jolt as well. And when the girl grabs his feet from under the bed.
Unnecessary.
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 He's there to help her. Should not have done that, but I jumped a mile. And yeah, I mean... Obviously, just to scare you.
Yeah.
But but I like how the tone changes after that. I mean, I really liked being able to. Now I can relax because I'm not, like I said, I'm not a huge horror person to begin with, and it was nice to be able to relax. Like I'm like, okay, the scary part's over. It was really nice, and oh my gosh, how effective is that like funeral scene?
Yeah.
I know you're going to say it was like a movie thing. No?
Oh, no. I did think... I actually thought it was a little slow this time around.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
I thought it was a little slow.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And going to funerals as an adult now, it did seem... I feel like before I was like, why isn't anybody noticing that there's a kid walking through their house?
And a grown man.
But
they wouldn't have seen him.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why, because when the first time I saw the movie, I was like, no one's noticing that this, like, 6-foot man and small boy are walking up the stairs right now. Yeah. Like, that to me was
true.
Like,
That's true. I didn't think about that. But in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I've been to plenty of wakes and plenty of funerals, and there's so many people that you don't even know. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's not unusual for people to be there that you don't know. So it didn't really occur to me that way.
I will say, it's so funny, because I remember even then, the funeral scene, I remember, like... Wow, again, it's that layeredness. It's like, isn't it enough this woman was beaten by her husband as she kills herself? Isn't it enough this girl, like she was sick, but no, the mother was poisoning her. Like, it's like, Jesus.
And,
this is heavy.
And she's poisoning the sister
little
now.
girl, too. I know, the sister.
That was really
Yeah.
Put the knife in the, what is it? The last nail in the coffin?
Yeah.
Is that the expression?
Yeah.
Pretty appropriate.
It was well done. I think for some reason this time around just a little draggy. I was like, come on, just go up to the father, just do it. But it's like, you have to remember he's a little kid. Well, he's also a little kid, and he's like afraid. And if he's even doing, he doesn't know what's in the box until the dad opens it. But yeah, it's a chilling. It's a bit chilling, and like it's pretty sick. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I imagine like through Emily's eyes, like. Huh.
Yeah.
Did you feel exposed in that moment, Christina?
A little. Like, well, I'm going to have to have a new plan.
My God.
God, it's terrible.
No, I know. Let's see. I'm going to be honest. The rest of my notes are actually kind of about the ending.
Okay. Well, do you want to take a break? Let's
take a break.
Yeah,
let's take a break.
Okay.
Yeah,
why don't we do that? We'll be right back.
Hey there, it's Brian and Christina. We just wanted to take this break to thank you for listening to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pulp culture through a middle-aged lens. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you have any questions, comments, or observations, shoot us an email at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, and now, back to the show. And we're back talking about The Sixth Sense from 1999. We did a rewatch and have some final notes. Christina, let's start with any final notes and thoughts?
Yeah, so what I really appreciated this time around too was, and I really like, I do like revisiting a movie that I've seen several times and still getting something out of it. And that really speaks to the director too, I think. Just so many different layers like we talked about before. But what I really liked this time around was how he never tells Bruce that he's a ghost. He never says you're dead or anything like that, okay? But he knows that he helped him. And he knows that that's it. Like that, he knows that he's helped the ghost and now the ghost is going to go away.
Yeah.
And I like that he said that. He says, we're not going to see each other anymore, am I? Oh, wait. We're not going to see...
I'm not going to see you anymore.
I'm not going to see you anymore, am I?
Yeah.
So he knows that he helped this ghost. And I like that.
It's smart.
Yeah, I think it's really smart. Like, he's saying what he needs to say without saying it. And we're still left in the dark.
Yeah.
So I really like that. Obviously, the twist, it just completely caught me off guard. I didn't know how they were going to wrap it up. In fact, I'm not sure how much I cared about his personal life, to be honest. I mean, back then, I just don't know. Like, there is that, oh my gosh, she's having an affair, and that's why he's upset, and they've drifted, But I think they did those scenes pretty well, too, where she's sitting alone at the anniversary thing, and she's,
she looks up. That totally bothered me. She did look up for 1 second. And I was like, oh shit, they shouldn't have left that in.
Yeah. I didn't notice it.
You didn't catch it?
No, I didn't notice it.
Carl caught it, and he had never seen it before either. And but I remembered it then. I remember it, and when it happened again, I was like, yeah, it's like just a split.
Just that split,
second
split
too long.
So there's also this whole thing about the color red symbolizing.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, and I remembered reading it before. I should have looked it up again. But as I was starting to watch the movie, something about red stuck out. And I'm like, oh, that's right. Red is supposed to mean something. And I was sort of tracking it a little bit, but...
Yeah, it was really like when I think it's like when the ghost... whenever a ghost, like, attempts to interact directly with the living.
Yeah.
And I think there were things like his red sweater, her red dress, or the red, I don't know if it was a dress or a
sweater
blouse, like something. When she's in the restaurant even, like that thing.
The red doorknob.
The red doorknob, and then at the end she's wearing like a red blanket. She has a red blanket wrapped around her. So I want to talk about that because the mist, when it gets really cold, that is because the ghost is angry. Is that right? That's
supposed to be what it means, yeah.
So here's the thing. Anna is the wife. There is mist coming out of her mouth, or whatever you call it, breath, cold breath coming out of her mouth. And what do you call it?
It's breath. It's not cold breath.
Well, whatever.
The cold air.
It's breath coming into contact with cold air. There's not a name for that? Breath.
We'll just call it breath.
Breath. Winter breath. So, I just wrote, first of all, I wrote, it's a bit much. I mean, she's like smoking at this point. Like, this is that much coming out of her mouth. But here's my feeling about this. Bruce Willis, or Dr. Crow, was not mad.
Right.
In that scene. In fact, he felt really sad. I'm going to rewrite that scene.
Okay.
I know this is usually your territory.
No, go right ahead.
So, but what if he sees the ring, she drops the ring. He thinks it's her ring. He doesn't see her hand.
Mm-hmm.
He gets angry that she took the ring off.
Ah.
Suddenly, it gets cold and her breath mists or shows. Then he's wondering why why she suddenly her breath can be seen, and then he thinks there's a ghost present, and he's like trying to figure it out. But then he slowly realizes that he is the ghost.
Nice.
My feeling
I like that a lot.
My feeling is I feel like he connected the dots a little too quick. Like, it's like, oh, my ring's off, I'm definitely dead and a ghost. Like,
yeah,
it's
if your ring is off, like, is that the first thing you're going to think of?
Yeah, it's like, oh, how did my ring come off? Like, oh, I must be dead.
Because then he's looking around, he's like questioning it. He's like, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very quick.
I'm just following with the science of this movie, like with the breath,
yes.
you know? Also, and I do want to talk about that scene where Toni and Collette, it's so good, when they're in the car, there's been an accident with the bike rider, and he said, Mom, Grandma visits me and says that you went to her grave and asked her a question, and she wanted you to know the answer is every day.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God. And she's like, do I make you proud? Oh my God. My God.
I'm honestly getting a little bit choked up just thinking about it right now. It is so beautiful. It's such a beautiful scene. I was thinking that scene was closer to the beginning of the movie, which is funny.
Oh, really?
I forgot it was like after everything.
Yeah.
But it is so good. And I get it's a movie moment, but I was effectively moved.
They're just so good, such good actors. Jesus.
And they have such great chemistry together.
You totally believe they're mother and son, and just the way they love each other is so sweet in this movie.
It's so sweet.
And they're just so good together. It's really a nice scene, and she's just so
she's
damn
good.
You keep saying good. So good over and over, but it's really good.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think her reactions feel real. Like, she loves this kid, and like she, like that's the whole deal. She will never think he's a freak.
Now, at this point, she's so, like, up until that point, she's so frustrated because she really wants to help him. She's super highly emotional, and she thinks that he's being abused by somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is she sees the scratches on his back.
That's right.
Oh my gosh! I mean, that's a terrifying thought. I'm just going to say as a parent, but anybody, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have that terrifying thought. So she's already has this like emotional state going on, and then he says, "I'm ready to tell you my secret," and she's just like, "Holy shit!" So now it's like, oh my gosh! So she's dealing with that emotion, like, oh my gosh, he's finally going to tell me. He's finally going, and so relieved. So the emotions are heightened again, and then he starts telling her about her mother and what was it that kept being moved? The bumblebee pin?
Yeah.
So the pin I did not take that bumblebee pin. And then Mom, she told me this and it's just like, I mean, I believe that I would be a slobbering mess even way before she was. So I thought it was just so well acted.
Yep. The question, and I completely agree. It's just,
So do you have anything else?
Let me see. Just some trivia. 6 Oscar nominations: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, Supporting Actress, and Editing. And casting consideration for Cole, Michael Cera.
Oh, wow.
I think they chose well.
I think so.
Because I feel like Michael Cera's like a natural comedian. I mean, he's just naturally funny. I think
I don't know.
Different.
I mean, maybe it's because
we wouldn't have known
him,
right? We wouldn't have known him then.
And this is before Forrest Gump or after?
Oh shit! After. I forgot that he's the kid. Haley's Joel Osment's the kid.
Yeah, he was Forrest.
So Forrest Gump was 94. This is 5 years after. The budget was $40 million. Do you want to guess how much this movie made?
I'm going to say $180 million.
$670
Oh my God!
million. This is a huge hit.
This was a huge hit.
And because I think what happened is people saw it a second time could be like, wait a minute.
Well, that's really that's brilliant, right? Isn't that brilliant? I'm going to make people watch it twice
to see if it really works. Okay, I think. Oh, so more, less, about the same. Did you like this movie now to then?
I liked it. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, it's really hard to say because the first time you're just blown away.
Yeah.
I will say I appreciated the acting more from the little boy and from Toni Collette. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say slightly more.
Yeah. Funny. I'm going to say slightly less.
Interesting.
I think because to know the twist, not that it loses that much, but I think because I loved it so much, it really could only probably go down for me.
I know, that's what's hard. I'm trying to think of it. You know, honestly, when you're asking me that question, I'm trying to think of it as, do I like it more or less than the second time I saw it?
That's a good gauge.
That's sort of what I'm looking at.
That's a good gauge. I think, part of it for me is, like, because I'm older, it's like to see with the doctor's choices, we're just like, if you're going to use that screen, I'm not objecting to the screen time or the running time of this movie. I'm objecting to how the doctor used that time with this kid. And I just don't think it was good from a screenplay or a character or even reality.
I agree.
I think it dropped the ball on all three uncertain scenes as an adult.
Yes,
otherwise,
the weakest character, the weakest actor.
But that acting, I mean, geez, those two supporting performances.
Yeah, see, those made up for it.
Yeah.
And the directing and the fact that I'm still picking things up that I didn't pick up before speaks to me, too.
Time for questions?
Time for questions.
I have a true match game. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to do your question first?
It doesn't matter. I have just sort of a simple one.
All right.
Just do my simple one first. So my question, I didn't even write it down. So my question is to you, a would you rather.
Okay.
So would you rather be the Bruce Willis character?
Oh, God, okay.
Where he's actually dead.
Yeah.
And trying to help this kid. And then you find out that you're dead. Okay? Mm-hmm. And your wife is basically having an affair. Or you think she is. Either that character, or would you rather be the child who can see and hear ghosts?
Yeah. Do you already know what I'm going to say? And do you have an answer for yourself, too?
I think I already know what you will say.
I would rather be Cole, the kid. Because, being, a ghost, whatever, I'm sure that has its benefits. But, like, I used to love that Long Island Medium show. And I would love to be able to help people like that.
Yeah.
It would scare the living shit out of me. And I'm also kind of like, as I get older, I get a little, I have sometimes these reactions where where I like almost half faint at certain things.
That's right.
And it's blood and gore. But I still watch these things. It's like my body is like this fight or flight when I see like morbidness. And even though I can handle it as a person, it's like my body. They're called vasovagal reactions, and you can Google these. They're real, and a lot of people experience them. I think as I get older, I have more of them, and I think it's something my body's like, you don't need these visuals in your life. I'm shutting you down, and so I think that would be the big hurdle there. Yes. But I would like to do that. It would be interesting just to not necessarily see it, but to connect.
Yes, that's what I thought you would say. I would feel the same way.
Yeah.
And plus, like, the Bruce Willis character, he's dead.
Well, you haven't asked the question.
No, I know. But I'm just saying, and I know that you have that sort of psychic interest.
Well, listen, what happens to his character now? He just goes to heaven? That's it.
Who, Bruce?
Yeah. So it's like, heaven...
He's all done.
What is heaven? So you just don't know, so I'd rather be the kid.
Is there a heaven? That's what we want to know.
I don't know. It's very deep.
All right, let's hear your question.
It's a true match game.
Okay.
Get ready.
I'm excited.
Well, Christina, Cole is really struggling again.
Oh, God.
It's
What's
the poor
going
kid.
on now?
I know, the
This
poor
kid.
Well, this time around, everywhere he looks, he sees blank people.
No.
Christina is still not writing.
Thinking.
He's really struggling. And the sequel to The Sixth Sense. Now he sees blank people.
Now he's
everywhere he looks. They're everywhere.
I'm trying to think of the way to write it.
Oh my God, I think we have the same answer just from that comment. That's really funny. I had two answers, which means between two.
God, now I'm under pressure.
Okay, sorry. I'll take the pressure off. This is a good question.
It is a good question. I'm not even going to say that answer because I can't think of the name of it. Okay, all right.
This is your first thought?
This is my first thought.
Good.
It's not my strongest answer.
Okay.
Okay, you ready? Ding.
Here we go. Cole's really struggling.
Okay.
Everywhere he looks, he sees blank people.
Ugly people.
Oh, God, that's so good. Christina, that's so much better than mine.
Ugly people.
Oh my God, that is so good. So I put...
Let's say... Non-vaxxed! Oh my gosh, that's
it's very,
really good
It's very timely. The other one I was going to have is people with a gluten allergy.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
But no.
I was thinking of something more like alienish, like half people, half like,
that's so good.
Like
that
a
answer
centaur
is
or
beautiful.
something like that.
Christina, that is such a good answer.
Thank you. You know, it's so funny, Brian. Every time I think I have a kind of a weaker answer, you love it.
Oh my god! I can't even stop laughing. And of course, like I mean, I'm just being timely.
Yes,
my
of
first
course,
yes. was the gluten, gluten and non-vax, and it's like the those things. But it's anyway.
I should have said like vegan or something.
I almost said vegan. I felt like vegan to me. It's really funny when I wrote the question, I instantly wrote CrossFit. Like,
funny.
CrossFit and vegan. There's always that subset of people that like. That pop culture was making fun. No. I'm not saying me. I mean, the pop culture likes to make fun of or make an example of, right? And I feel like CrossFit was earlier, probably say 5-6 years ago, and then it was vegan. Mm-hmm. Then it's like gluten free, and I feel like now it's like the non-vax, where it's like where I think comedians or people in media, it's like if they have to zero in on a subset of people, that's where they go, and so that's why I had all those ideas flying around, and then you came up with ugly, and that is a beautiful answer. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Oh, and before we end this episode, I just want to say I was listening to our Spotify playlist last night.
Nice.
And it was really, really fun. We were playing games. We were playing Yahtzee with Emily and Matt, and we had that on. And actually, Emily chose it, which was very exciting.
Nice.
And it was really, really fun. And Matt was testing me because my back was to the Spotify screen. And, I got most of them.
Good.
So anyway, don't forget to listen to
give
the
us
Spotify
a listen, give us a follow.
playlist.
Something really quick. Give us a rating on iTunes where our ratings are really high, and you don't have to write a review. It's just a rating. But we haven't had a rating in a while. It just even like a star like. So I feel like but at the same time our downloads are up. So it's like it's all very good and exciting. But if you remember to just give us a little star rating on iTunes if you can. Thanks so much.
Guys.
And that is it for us and for this episode of Old Roommates. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or a review while you're there, please.
If you have an idea for the show or a suggestion or comment, you can email us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
Thanks again for listening. Until next time.